call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
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 Roll call, please.
Allen,
Here.
Green,
Here.
LaFour, Mistrovich,
Here.
Rindell,
Here.
Ricks,
Here.
Warren.
Here.
We need a motion to excuse Dennis LaFour from tonight's meeting, being he is out of town.
I'll make that motion. Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion on that? I'm sure we all wish we were where he was right now. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to approval of minutes for the city council meeting held on February 19th. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to audience comments. If you have any other comments other than what we're going to be doing tonight, then I will stay at the council desk. Would you want to talk on anything else that's on the agenda this evening? So, council, we will not go to the public since we just have the chief and his wife here this evening. Adoption of agenda, Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes.
City Council, any changes? Motion to accept the agenda as presented would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There's no discussion on the consent agenda. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have 4 items for consideration this evening. The first one being consideration of the confirmation of the fire chief. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider confirming the appointment of Tom Garrett as fire chief for the city of Richmond. According to the city charter, the city council confirms the appointment of the fire chief who is selected by the fire department as long as the position remains a volunteer position. Members of the fire department held election on Wednesday, February 21st, and elected Tom Garrett fire chief.
Thank you. Chief, would you like to address council?
Yes, I would. That is correct. Obviously, on the 21st of February, the membership of the fire department did vote me on, as well as most of our officer staff stayed intact as well. There was one minor change. Matt Ball has moved up to Lieutenant 2, and Sean Kramer has moved out of not only the officer role, but the department in general. But I wanted to say thank you very much to my family for the support, as well as the membership, city council, the mayor, city manager, for everything that has happened so far this first 2 years, now that the 2 years are complete. And then, of course, moving into this third year. I just wanted to say thank you very much. You've all been very supportive on everything that I've either brought up or brought to the attention of everybody, and the department as well. The department has been by my side the whole time, and I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Is there a motion for discussion?
I make a motion to confirm the appointment of Tom Garrett as fire chief for the city of Richmond in accordance with section 7.13 of the City of Richmond Charter for a 1-year term commencing on March 1st, 2018 and expiring on March 1st, 2019. Support.
Motion been made and supported. Discussion.
I would like to make a comment,
Go
Mr.
right
Mayor. Tom, I really appreciate his amazing gift of administration and organization, and I appreciate when you bring things to us that are very well presented, and you have a lot more involvement in the budget process, and I really appreciate that as a council person. And I also appreciate the ideas that he has brought forth these past 2 years, and I really look forward to the next year above coming forward. And I just really thank him for his time that he spends, because this is a volunteer position, and I know it's almost like a full-time job. So thank you for what you do. It is very much so appreciated.
Anybody else?
Thanks for your service, Chief.
Well, we got you one more year, right? Yeah. That's what they say, right? That's your bylaws. They can always be changed, right? No, I'd echo what Jamie brought up. We all feel, you've done a great job, especially with the budget and the way we had to come back out of the ashes here. It was a great amount of help from our department, and you were the leader, so we give you the credit for your leadership to get us where we are back again, so to speak. Not out of the woods completely, but working on the grant has been a good thing this year. We appreciate all the time involved with that, and we understand that the department is a voluntary department, and we appreciate that. The taxpayers of the city of Richmond don't know how much they're getting from a volunteer department. It would cost just unbelievable amount of money for us to have our own fire department full-time, as other communities have gone. So we appreciate what you do and what all your officers. Congratulations to them also, and also to it's the one time a year we really get an opportunity to say thank you so much to the entire department for what they do. So, and credit your family also, and your wife, who's here this evening, for putting up with, oh no, I'm not supposed to say that, am I?
No.
Putting up with them. But Tom, you know how we all feel. You've done a great job, very admirable, and hopefully if there's people coming, in the next few years, as you may be limited to your term, hopefully they use you as a yardstick in the future for, what a chief is supposed to be like. So, thank you much.
I appreciate that. And remember, I'm just one of 30 volunteers, and a lot of those ideas are group.
Oh, yeah.
They're assembled, and I can't thank those guys enough in the department and their wives and for the ladies auxiliary. I mean, it just goes so deep. And I'm proud to say that we're volunteer and we're Richmond. So thank you very much.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you again. Item number 2 is consideration of the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 163, golf cart ordinance. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to give second reading and adopt ordinance number 163, golf carts. The ordinance would allow for the utilization of golf carts on city streets if registered through the city police department. Council has discussed this ordinance at 2 previous roundtable meetings, as well as having given introduction and first reading at last council meeting. Under the draft ordinance, residents would need to register the golf carts with the Richmond Police Department and receive a golf cart registration sticker. As part of the process for doing that, they also need to have proof of insurance through their homeowner's policy for that.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to give second reading and adopt ordinance number 163, golf carts. An ordinance to allow the use of golf carts on city streets.
Support.
It's been made and supported. Is there a discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a question and a comment. Did we hear back from John Crum at the county?
I've had a conversation. I don't believe they're allowed on county roads. They don't have a similar ordinance that the St. Clair County does that allows them. However, I'm not sure if that is enforced in the north end of the county very well.
Because since we have our own police department, we do the policing in the city more so than the
Correct,
county?
yes. Yeah, we are our own Act 51 agency, so whether the county allows it, the state law allows municipalities under 30,000 the ability to approve them on city streets under our jurisdiction.
So there wouldn't be a possibility of a golf cart driver being pulled over by a county sheriff and ticketed?
Not on city streets.
Not on, in the city, on a county road in the city of Richmond?
There are no county roads in
Oh,
the city of Richmond.
The division isn't, okay,
No.
okay.
On the far end, it's maintained.
Any border streets
Yeah.
are the jurisdiction of the county. So there is a section of Division Road, like in front of Med Lodge, that is the county jurisdiction, but that I wouldn't, and since that is over 35.
You couldn't
again,
drive on
you're
there
not gonna
anyways,
drive on
okay.
it anyway, correct.
Okay, that answers. Okay, and then I guess another, I got actually a couple of phone calls about this and some text and emails and Facebook messages. So I just need to ask some of these questions before we move forward in this. One was a suggestion was made of not only to highlight our own current crosswalk lanes across Main Street, but to maybe have, we can talk about this more, have the idea of areas where would be like a golf cart crossing of Main Street, that when they crossed, it would be safer. And I'm not saying this needs to be part of the ordinance, but just a conversation that was brought up. Because they already see, and as we've had business owners bring up issues about where the bump outs are, that it's not quite as clear, and they would like to see that more clearly marked. But since we're having issues with pedestrians, would the golf carts be having the same issues trying to cross Main Street, was a concern that was brought up. Or having a designated spot or noted, I'm just putting this is not necessarily my ideas, this was 2 people actually have mentioned this to me. And then just a reminder that if this doesn't work out, it is repealable. I mean, we can always take a look at this down the road. If there's incidences, we have the authority to take it away. So I just want to remind the residents of that as well.
I've heard nothing but positive on this. People who are seeing it going out and buying one just so that they have a golf cart instead of dumping in their car all the time to go uptown, or going from an unwalkable area to the downtown. I shouldn't say unwalkable, from an area that is much farther to walk than we normally would walk. I've heard that comment. And just the fact that it does create a friendliness. You jump in your car, you can drive by your neighbor 100 times and you might wave at him, but you don't stop and talk normally. In a golf cart, from first-hand experience, usually you stop and say hello. It opens up a friendliness. So I've heard more about that than I've heard anything negative.
Well, there was Mr. Mayor, excuse me, there was a negative on your Facebook post that somebody did make a comment, and Councilor Mostrovich actually did a very good job at, I thought, refuting that comment.
Well, again, once that person realized what the rules were and everything
Yes.
else, he completely turned around. Again,
Yes.
if, Facebook is a great thing for some things, but I don't think the city council personally should be responding to people and taking the time to respond to people who don't even have an idea, have never attended a meeting, haven't read the ordinance or anything else. Otherwise, we'd be spending all of our time educating the public. You want to be educated, you can meet with the city manager at any time or call any of us. If we have the answers, we can tell them. Otherwise, you go to the city manager and tell them what's going on. Again, that was wasn't sure what it was all about, and insinuating that the city council hadn't thoroughly discussed this and looked into this, and we have other communities that have done it, and we're following somewhat in their footsteps to make sure that we're not rewriting the whole state law. If I reacted to everything that's on Facebook, I wouldn't have time to do my job. So, whatever.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would concur with everything you said. The only time I reach out to somebody is when the comment is so out of what's actually we're trying to do.
Yep,
And try to
absolutely.
point that out.
Oh, yeah.
And like Councilor Green said, yeah, it's been a while since I've had so many communications, whether it's a phone call, emails about an ordinance, and this one had brought it up. But I would say the majority were more positive. There were some people that were negative, but really it's because they didn't know the details of our ordinance.
Exactly.
So that's why it was mainly the message I sent back, answered their question in email, but said, please look at the ordinance, because we've gone through this, fine-tuned it. Granted, it was based on the village of Milford, but
And state law.
and state law, exactly. So we went and tweaked it, made sure that we were able to answer all the questions. There were some concerns from people about, okay, well, what happens if somebody violates it? Well, that's spelled out in here, what happens. So I think we've done a real good job of doing this, and I think it's worth giving it a try. Other communities are doing it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. They're only going to be going 15 miles per hour. Going to be on mainly our side streets. So I have no problems with this. I'm happy to answer the emails, but I agree, we need to hold back on Facebook until it gets a little bit so uninformed that you have to at least respond to something. Otherwise, I feel that we're not taking what they're saying and we're just kind of brushing it off. And something like this, which I think is good, we need to dispel the negativity about it.
You have the time to do that, Michael, so, so
Well,
be it. That's the thing. I don't have the time to
Yeah, I just, no.
educate every individual that complains about something that they haven't even taken the time to read.
Yep. I
So,
would say of all the comments, probably less than 10% I'll respond to,
Yeah.
just because,
yep,
a lot of times, what's good is we do have some informed citizens, and they'll answer instead of like
Absolutely.
coming from us.
sure, absolutely.
So
Yep,
it's
yep.
good. Yep.
I always say the door's wide open here at City Hall. You can
Yep.
call the city manager, get an appointment. If you need to meet with the city council, we meet the first and third Mondays of every single month and then some. So, we are wide open for discussion on any of this stuff. I don't know that Facebook is the place to be doing it, or Twitter, or Instagram, or any of these other things that are up and about. But anyhow.
Well, and Mr. Mayor, to be clear, I was just commenting that he did make an appropriate response, and I think education is important about this ordinance. And please don't take my comments that I've brought to the table as I do support this ordinance. I just want to clear up some of the misconceptions, and please, we can put, the ordinance will be available for residents to read so they can see the detail and the time and care that has gone into this.
Yep, yep. I'm not offended by it. I'm staying my side. If we're gonna react to everything that, when one person or even two people put on Facebook, we're gonna bring it to the table to, hash over and everything else. I just don't agree to that.
Well, he wasn't the only
My
one,
personal,
right.
thing. So, I don't even know how you answer some of the questions that I've seen. They're totally uninformed and come up with questions that I don't even know there's an answer to it because the question is so mumbled up. So it's telling me that you haven't taken the time. And so that's just my feeling.
So speaking of posting of the ordinance, just to kind of close that loop up, how soon will this be posted onto the city's website?
Oh,
If it
it
gets
normally
approved.
goes through the Municicode, so it's a factor of how long that takes, and that's a third-party vendor. So if council wishes, I can do a news flash and have it posted. It wouldn't be as part of our normal code of ordinances where you would click there. If council would like, I can do it as a news flash in a document that I've uploaded to the website.
Yeah, that might be helpful, just so if somebody contacts us, we say, here, take a look at the ordinance.
Mhm.
Here's the link to it, and if you have any questions, please see the city manager.
First in the paper by next Wednesday. I will this time because it's brand new.
And also, because it's brand new, the whole ordinance will be published in the paper
Next Wednesday.
next
it will.
Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Great.
So legal effect will be after it's published?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And part of that also, now that it's being adopted, administration will need to put together all of the forms and everything.
Yeah.
And get the registration stickers, that sort of stuff, so.
So should we be setting a date when this takes effect? Rather than it's right now, it's just open-ended.
It's usually 15 days.
It's usually
after
15 days after.
After publication.
More than that, obviously.
You need to come up with all the documents. Registration for, there's a number of things that need to be
I
done.
know, I would say,
Can we go May 1st? Is that too early? Too late?
You're gonna have people coming in probably before then.
yeah, but I would say May 1st. Let's target May 1st. If we run into something, we can always at the council table and through the website publish what that other date is, but let's target May 1st.
Okay, all right.
Yep, that's a good,
Council agree to that?
Yes.
Okay, May 1st. Okay. Weather usually is cleared up a little bit better by then anyhow. Okay. All right. Any other discussion?
Just, since we're doing that on May 1st, should we amend the motion to state that, or just have it handled by administration if somebody asks about it?
We can, however you want to do it. It's gonna be published, so maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to include that. So an amended motion to take effect by May 1st
Yeah.
would be in order.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Support. Discussion on that. None? Okay, we'll go to the vote. All in favor of the amended amendment of May 1st, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passed. We go to the main motion. Is there any other discussion on the main motion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Okay. Moving on to item number 2 of our agenda this evening, 3 of our agenda this evening is consideration of approving resolution number 2018-3, request to conduct the Memorial Day Parade, the VFW Post 6802 in Richmond. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider the request we've received from VFW Post 6802 to conduct the annual Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 28th, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Richmond High School parking lot. VFW is also asking for the purchase of wreaths. We've been purchasing 2, one for each cemetery, and then also one for the Veterans Memorial.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 2018-3, which directs the city clerk to apply to the Michigan Department of Transportation to close M19 on Monday, May 28th, 2018, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the purpose of conducting the annual Memorial Day Parade.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Appreciate the VFW, again, hosting the Memorial Day services. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We have another motion for the authorized purchase of the 3 wreaths.
I'll make a motion to authorize the purchase of 3 wreaths to be placed at the Richmond Cemetery, St. Michael's Cemetery, and Veterans Memorial.
Support.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this? Again, an item that we do every year. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We hope for good weather for our parade that day. And the final item for consideration is consideration of recommendations of the Personnel Committee. Mr. City Manager?
City Council is scheduled to consider approving the recommendation of the City Council Personnel Committee, changing the compensation of 3 non-affiliated employees and recommending changes to the salary and grade scale. During last year's budget process, the City Council discussed and then formed a Personnel Committee consisting of Mayor Ricks, Mayor Pro Tem Mistrovich, and Councilor LaFour to review the non-affiliated personnel policies and also review the compensation for the treasurer, cable coordinator, and rec director position. And then also, during that time, we went over the salary and grade scale that had not been updated since, I believe, 2007. So previously, council was provided a memo from that committee, and we're asking council to adopt the recommendations within that memo.
Thank you. Is there a motion before discussion?
I make a motion to approve the recommendations of the City Council Personnel Committee outlined in the memo dated February 26, 2018.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
Go right ahead.
I would just like to thank the administration for helping the committee through this. We got a lot of excellent information. I also appreciate the honesty of the administration personnel that were on the administration side, their committee, for their open and honesty and explaining their thoughts as well. I thought we had real good discussion with them, and I think that we came to a good consensus and something that is very fair and well-deserved.
I echo the sentiments also. Great job of getting us all the information. Really left no question to what we needed to do. It's been quite a while and quite a change in the way our personnel have been hired, part-time versus full-time and everything else, and making sure that we compensate them accordingly. I appreciate the committee getting it together and the city manager and the staff getting it together and getting this taken care of right away. like we wanted.
And thanks, as Mike mentioned, there was also kind of phase one of this, which is what council approved in November, which changed the non-affiliated personnel policies that impacted all of the department directors.
Mr. Mayor, I would also just like to thank the Personnel Committee. This took a lot of thought behind it and time and dedication, and I thank you for setting aside time to work on something that was really important and needed to be taken care of.
Anything else? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to city manager comments, sir.
I have none tonight.
What the hell? It's because you know there's a basketball game we want to get to. Okay, council comments. Rob?
Nothing.
John?
Nothing.
Emily?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Nothing.
Jamie? Michael?
I am good.
I'm going to be really brief on, I have some things in front of me. These people want to get the word out. March 24th, Saturday, begins at 10:30 a.m. sharp. And when she says begins at 10:30 a.m. sharp, you better be there because it's going to go no matter what. That's the Easter egg scramble. I don't know how many years it's been now, but it's been quite a few. But you want to be there on the 24th for our annual Easter egg scramble. The Richmond Area Historical and Genealogical Society is having a annual historic tea. Is happening this Saturday, March 10th, and it's advance tickets only. And I do have a phone number, 727-7773, if you would like to get a hold of them and see if there's still room. And that's the Richmond Area Historical and Genealogical Society's annual historic tea. At that same time, this is the third annual RAGS, which is the Historical Society, as they are sometimes called. They are having their historic Wiener Roast the same day as the tea at 1 o'clock at the Historic Village. There will be a special guest speaker and plenty of hot dogs, and you can bring a dish to pass. Any questions on that one, you can call 484-1643. The same day, March 10th, the Richmond High School trap team will be holding a cornhole tournament, and it's going to be held at the Richmond Sportsman's Club on Big Hand Road, and that is March 10th. And it starts at 6 p.m. Registration is at 6, and the cornhole tournament will start at 7 by the looks of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's to benefit the Richmond High School trap team, who's done very, very well. You got a son on that team?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, 2018 Miss Richmond pageant will be Sunday, March 11th. We got a lot of things going on here. At Maniaci's Banquet Center at 2 o'clock. This coming Sunday, March 11th, will be the Miss Richmond pageant. Doors will open at 1:15, and the pageant will start immediately at 2 o'clock. $2 to get in, and I believe they have 8 girls vying for Miss Richmond this year, from the last thing I was told. So that's that. Let's see what else we got here. This week, the rec board meeting that was slated for the 6th is actually going to be on the 20th at 7 o'clock right here at City Hall. The 8th this week, there is no planning commission. There is a BZA meeting at 7 o'clock right here at City Hall. Don't forget daylight savings time when it starts this Sunday, the 11th. The Cable Commission will be meeting on the 13th at 7 o'clock. The next regular scheduled City Council meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight on the 19th. Is there anything else that we need to add to the calendar tonight? Moving on, there is no closed session. Is there any other business of the City Council this evening? Being not, motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes.